Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different and mention my top 5 tips for project planning. I have now been project planning for 2 or 3 years and I feel like I have picked up some little tidbits over the last couple of years that I think could be useful for people who are just starting out or you're a little bit overwhelmed. So, tip number 1 is to track your progress. I think that's vital to project planning, is to track your progress, see how you're going, the proof that you have been using it every single month, that you have been, obviously my favourite way of doing it is a spreadsheet, but you can also do it on a pad of paper, you can do it on the product itself, especially if it's like a bottle or a lip product, or like a some sort of liquid, you know, like a hand cream. I've got some examples where I have markings on here to show where I am each month. Another one is of course like this as well. I've got markings each month here to show that I'm still using this item. I feel like marking your progress is a really good way of keeping you on track to reach your goals. I always have my iPad like right next to me, and I have my spreadsheet super close to me, and I have all of my different projects. I'm pretty sure I did a video about my spreadsheet for all of my sheets on here for different projects, and I find that it's really useful, especially as I film a lot of my projects. And I found when I first began project planning, I didn't do this, and I found that I really struggled to get into doing it, like using my project plan items, because I wouldn't reach for them. One way that has really helped me keep on top of my goals. And then if you don't want to use a spreadsheet, of course you can have a pad of paper, a notepad. I know a lot of people like to manually mark, like if they've got like a pencil rolled in or like a lip product rolled in, they like to mark it manually on a piece of paper so you can see again each month, quarter, how much you have used it within that time period. I don't do that because I'm not someone who's very manual. I tried it once, I think, when I first started out, and then I was like, you know what, I already have this spreadsheet anyway, as I created this spreadsheet in 2013. Number 2, how to pick your items. So if you're someone who finds it really difficult to like look at your items and choose something, like I can't do that. I can't just go and look into my drawers and like pick, oh, I'm gonna work on this one this month, I'm gonna roll this one in. No, I have to use a number generator to help me roll something in. All of my items are in my spreadsheet and they are numbered, so that every single time I roll an item in, I use the number generator, and the number that comes up on here relates to the number that is in my inventory. So I use the Pretty Random app, which is pretty random, and it basically is just that. It is numbers, and then you re-roll. I like it because you can shake it and it moves, whereas you can also use obviously this button down here to make it change as well. It's pretty much all that I use. So I would definitely recommend using a number generator. You don't obviously have to use this app. You can also use, I think Google has its own number generator, and there's probably other websites that do it as well. You can also do like color generators as well. There's like websites for that. There's probably apps for it. Whenever I roll in a prompt that is about a color generator, I tend to just Google a color generator, and the first site that comes up I just use. And then to go alongside that, choosing a variety of items. Of course, when you use your number generator, you might end up rolling in more than what you want of that specific category, as I have like a lot of nail polishes and a lot of eyeshadows, so I have to set limits on my project with how many I want to have in each. So for example, my project pan, I'm only allowed to work on 5 eyeshadows in total in that project. I can only work on 2 blushes, 2 bronzers, 2 highlighters at a time, just so that I'm not overwhelmed in a certain category. 5 eyeshadows is still quite a lot, but I think that's quite doable for me to work on. And since I've put that goal in place, it's definitely helped me get through some more eyeshadow palettes than I was working on before. Other tips as well is if you already have hit pan on something, or you want to roll in an item that you don't want to hit pan on, like a limited edition item or a black or a bright coloured eyeshadow or a lip product that you don't want to wear very often, whatever it is, put a usage goal onto it. Whether that is 10 uses, 20 uses, 50 uses, 100 uses, it's still a way of using the item, but to a set limit that you aren't being overwhelmed with. It means that, you know, of course it's not what you want to be working on full time, but it's still something you can work on for a couple of times each month. I do this a lot with nail polishes. I usually have like a set, like a 50 usage goal for nail polishes that I want to work on, 20 uses or 10 uses for limited edition nail polishes. Black eyeshadows I always put in for 10 uses, eyeliners as well, 10 uses. What else is there? There's also lip products I tend to put in for 10 to 20 usage goal as well, just so I can get through them a little bit more. Like for me, my pet hates are black eyeshadows and eyeliners. I just don't think I suit them these days, so I always put a usage goal of 10 uses and call it a day. That means I'm still using these items but at a lower amount, and I'm still able to use them over a period of like 2 or 3 months. Tip number 4 is to have your items out on your beauty area, wherever you do your makeup. Keep your items out on display. If you put them away, you aren't going to reach for them. No matter how much you think you're going to, if you're going to have your inventory, your notepad on desk or your spreadsheet nearby, if you don't have them on your desk, you're not going to pick them up and wear them. When I first started project planning, I just kept them in my drawers like they were stored away, and of course it makes it quite messy to have them on your desk, but I have my items on my desk and they're in certain piles and like areas for me to pick on and choose every single day, so that I don't not use them. It's definitely worked for me, for certain. Like, it might not work for you, but it's what works for me. I know that if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So having them out on display means I'll pick on that eyeshadow, I'll pick on that bronzer, I'll pick on that highlighter, that concealer, lip product. I won't go dipping into my drawers and finding something else to work on instead. So that is definitely a huge little tip to share with you. And tip number 5, I definitely did this when I started project planning. I got introduced to project planning and I was like, oh, great, I'm going to just do all of these different projects. And I got overwhelmed. And so many different projects. When I first began project planning, when I didn't quite know what I was doing, didn't quite have the rhythm set yet, and I actually ended up just not doing a couple of the projects because I couldn't reach for those items enough for it to warrant happening. I think I did the A to Z project plan. It took me such a long time to finish it because I wasn't picking up on the items. And in the end, I was like, okay, I'm just going to use these items 26 times and then call it a day, because trying to hit pan all those items just was not feasible. And so I had to cut some slack. I also stopped doing the project level up project pan as well, because I couldn't fathom working on another eyeshadow. I feel like I've now got to the point where I can have multiple projects going on and utilize each item in those projects quite fairly and frequently, that I do get progress each month. But when I first began, I was overwhelmed, and I kind of got the fear of wearing makeup, and it did the opposite effect of me. I did the opposite effect, and I actually stopped wearing makeup because of it. So key, don't go overkill. Don't think that you can now have 1,000,001 different projects going on, because you just don't have the time. Unless you wear makeup literally every single day and you change it like twice a day, maybe you can do that, but for me, that's not possible. When I first started project planning, I was wearing makeup more on a frequent basis anyway, but like this year, 2023, I've actually cut back wearing makeup quite a lot, and my progress is definitely slower, but it's more realistic, and that I quite like that. I think it's more authentic that way. Anyway, those are my top 5 tips. I hope this was useful for you guys. Yeah, good luck if you are about to join or have just recently joined the project planning world. I've not bought any new makeup in 3 years now because of my project planning, and I'm enjoying my collection. That is definitely like an extra little tip. Enjoy your collection and yeah, have fun. Right, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.